I'm back. What's up, guys? How are you doing? I know exactly how you're doing. You're stuck inside, wishing you could go out to the park, to the beach, whatever you want to do, but unfortunately, we're in this quarantine. But this is not going to be a show about quarantine. I've been doing so many things, and there's a reason I haven't been recording, and it's because I've been doing other recordings for other things. We're going to get to that in a second. Where we last left off, I was dropping out of school to start my businesses. I was running 500 million miles an hour trying to do different things, and then I realized I couldn't do everything plus this channel, so this is what had to take a back seat. And I tried to restart it again and again and again, but things just got hectic. I would not recommend doing a daily vlog to anyone. That was a terrible idea. I decided to go back to school. I'm doing online school, finishing up, getting a degree in business administration just so I have that paper in case I ever want to go to a grad school. Turns out I tried to go to about 4 or 5 different grad schools just to be like, look, based on my merit, should I be allowed in? Turns out unless you have that piece of paper, no one is going to actually take you seriously. And that's a fascinating topic that I could talk for 35 minutes on, but this is not the time. Other than that, the thing that I've been doing that's taking up 99% of my time is running my businesses. I own 5 different businesses right now, and that's kind of insane. So let me count them out for you. We have Faithful Habit. This is a streetwear brand. We're kind of going like Southern California streetwear, really trying to make subtle. This is actually one of our shirts, making subtle Christians, like Catholic streetwear that doesn't scream Catholic. It's just very, very simple. Like the shirt we recently put out is just the agape definition, the definition of true love. So we're really simple, we're really chill. I'm also running something called the Infusion Initiative. We're trying to showcase and help people who are trying to get up in the ranks of, I'm an online Christian personality sort of a person, to be able to reach their audiences better. So that's a fun one. I also have Torchburn Ministries, my youth ministry curriculum. This one is near and dear to my heart. I've been doing it for about 3 years, trying to build the curriculum. Just this past week, we finished checking everything, making sure it's all good, running through all the different steps that we have to go through, and it's amazing. It's a fantastic program. Things have changed, but it's still a very good small group-based, community-based program for an incredible price. So that's something that I'm super proud of. Then I took over one of my friend's companies, Swole Catholic. This one is interesting because this brand is based around fitness, like high-intensity fitness, and we're sort of shifting the brand over to more of an anyone can work out, anyone can be fit. That's why our tagline is fitness is universal. We're trying to prove that anyone, no matter who you are, can, do push-ups on your floor during quarantine. Like, it's possible to be fit, and it's possible to be fit not just in body, but in mind and soul as well. So that's a fun one. Then the overall company is Riser Media LLC. Now, this is the brand that everything else is underneath. Riser Media is a digital agency / production studio. So our general idea is that we can create video, photography, like whatever you're looking to do, we are able to create it, but we're also able to help you with online social media management, as well as coaching. So we have a wide list of things we're able to do. We have a great team behind. Unfortunately, I decided to start all these in the middle of a quarantine. So not many people are looking for youth ministry curriculum that's based on close personal communication, and no one's looking to increase their social media presence right now, even though I think it's important, because unless you're doing social media strong right now, your business is going to have a lot of issues. More than they have because of a virus. I think that's what's going to be interesting, to see what companies come out of this alive and what companies really start to struggle. I saw an article that bars in Florida that have been around for 60, 70 years are probably not going to be able to reopen after this. It's really interesting. Obviously, a lot of people are doing things in government to try to protect that, to make sure that doesn't happen. I think that's important. That gets back to, why am I restarting this now? 5 years after I put out my first video, it was a podcast too. I've been doing podcasting, has like been my bread and butter. I love podcasting. That's why I started off this show. That's how I did. I love period. I love this style of sit down with a microphone in front of you and just have a conversation with people, with not too many cuts, nothing too intense, just very simple, very, very minimal, just talking, really having a conversation with you, the audience, without many cuts, without too much, power and flair. I can do that, but instead of setting things up and then having, not much content, I would rather be able to do this. It doesn't look incredible, but it allows for us to have incredible content more regularly and consistently. The only time I've ever had consistency with uploading videos is when I was doing a podcast. So I decided, let's get back to this. I'm also restarting a podcast with my beautiful girlfriend, Rachel. We're doing our show, The RC, into like a video podcast / podcast. We're going to be uploading it all over. This is obviously not going to be on Spotify because this is just a YouTube show. But I have a bunch of other show ideas I want to do. I will have friends that I want to bring on. I have different concepts that I want to start exploring with how to bring you more content. And that really goes to what I want this show to become. Rise Up Jerusalem, when it started, was because I wanted to hit more youth. That sounded wrong. Rise Up Jerusalem was started because I wanted to reach more youth. It's very simple. So that has kind of changed. There are a lot of people now who are doing content for youth, a lot of major companies. So what do I bring to the table that's special? It's been a lot of questions that I've had to ask is, where am I in my faith journey, and who do I want to reach? And in reality, I want to reach people who are interested in learning about how to live as a Catholic without being intensely Catholic. There are people right now, for example, who are saying, you know what, forget about what the government says. We're going to just storm into churches so we can say Mass and be arrested just for the Eucharist. It's like, okay, that's a little extreme. But at the same time, you have to ask yourself if that's really the best mode. But that's really what I want to do, is look at the culture from a religious standpoint and say, hey, here's what's going on, and here's how we as Catholics can respond to it. Can, not should. I think a major thing is missing from Catholic media are people who can say, I don't think that everything is black and white. I think there are times and circumstances, and that the majority of things that will happen in relation to culture are gray areas. There are vices, there is virtue, and then there's a huge gray area. And I think that we need more people talking about how do we navigate the gray area of culture as Catholics. That's what I want Rise Up Jerusalem to be. I've said this 50 times. The name for Rise Up Jerusalem is all about rising out of sin. But in those gray areas of culture, how do we understand what's good and what's not? Thank you everybody so much for watching. Welcome to the new Rise Up Jerusalem. And remember, as it was in the beginning, is now, and never shall be, rise up and live.